In this video, I'm going to show you how to play the common open chords. If you are a beginner, these are the perfect chords for you. This is what you should be starting out with. It's good to build up your fingers strength and toughen up your fingers too. Now, before you get started, make sure that you're in tune. And we'll start with the E chord in the upper left hand corner. And this is what an E chord would look like if you fretted it properly. I'm going to play each string one at a time. And you see all the strings are nice and ringing out. So we got a nice big E chord sound. Now you can use the little black dots in the chord diagram will tell you what fingers to use and what frets to use that. I could go into detail that, telling you the second finger goes on the first fret and there's that and the other, but that gets awful confusing, so just refer to the diagrams. Now the E minor is quite similar. We're just going to play one less fretted note there. We're going to play it open, which is that G string. And then we've got the ominous E minor chord. The E7 is similar to the E chord. We're just not going to play that second fret of the D string. We're going to play that D string open and get the E7 chord. A little jazzier sounding. The E minor 7 is the easiest chord on this chart. Second fret with your second finger right there on that A string, and all the other strings are open. Now from the easiest to the hardest, the B7, which will require all four of your fingers. We've got that open B string there, and that's why it's an open chord, and that's what it sounds like. You'll notice this chord, you don't play that low E string. That's why that X is on that diagram. Next is the A chord. A chord, some people have trouble with at first because it seems like you're cramming all your fingers right there, but it can be done. And again, we're not playing our low E string. Starting on the A string is where we play that chord. A7 is similar. We're just going to play that G string open. And then the A minor. We've changed from the second fret of that B string. We've dropped it down one fret. Now we're playing the first fret. And it's different fingerings than the regular A because we have to switch our fingers around. The first and third fingers to be exact. And the A minor 7, we're going to play that G string open, and the other two notes that we're fretting are the same as the A minor. So essentially we're just taking away that third finger. Here's the A major 7th. Dropped from the second fret of that G, we've dropped down one fret there, and now we're on the first fret of the G. Now here's the D chord. The D chord we're going to play, we're going to not play, the low E and the A string. We're going to start on the D string. And this is a cute little chord to play. First finger right there, third finger on the third fret, and the second finger on the second fret. And here's the D7. It's a little similar, except we're going from playing this note to this note, and the rest of the chord form stays the same. Now here's the D minor. Instead of D major, D minor. So we've just dropped that note right there to the first fret. The D minor 7, second finger right there on that second fret of the G, and use your first finger to bar the first fret of the B in high E, and then you have your D minor 7. Next would be D major 7, and just bar your first finger over the second fret of the G, B, and high E strings, and then that's your D major 7th. Kind of a fun chord to play. Okay, next we go to C. C is kind of a funny looking chord. Very common. It's probably the first chord that some people learn how to play. It's easy to remember because you're going to put your third finger on the third fret, second finger on the second fret, and first finger on the first fret. Third of the A, second of the D, and the first of the B string. We're going to play the G and the high E strings open. We're not going to play that low E string here. Now the C7, we're going to add our pinky right there on the third fret of the G, and the rest of the chord stays the same. The C major 7, we're going to take away our first and fourth fingers, and we're going to play just that bottom chord shape there, and the rest of the strings open. So if we play the full chord, it sounds like. Alright, next up is the G chord. Now, there's two ways you can play the G chord. Some people play it like it's shown on the diagram. The second finger on the third fret, first finger on the second fret of the A, and that third finger right there on the high E. But, you know, sometimes I'll play it like this, and sometimes I play it like this, which is the pinky right there used on the high E on the third fret, and the second and third fingers used for the lower strings there. And that gets you a little more freedom sometimes to change from chord to chord. Now the last chord is a G7, and the only difference between it and a regular G chord is we're using the first fret of that high E instead of the third fret, and we get a little more deeper sound there with the G7. And that's all the chords, so we'll see you later.